Future and 21 Savage, two names fans once believed were locked in for life. Same wave, same energy, same vision. Their chemistry felt untouchable, not just in music, but in the culture. But now, something has shifted, and it's not just a rumor anymore. What started as quiet whispers behind the scenes has slowly turned into something far more serious. Studio sessions going cold. Public appearances suddenly cancelled. Subtle lyric changes that fans are now dissecting line by line. And the most alarming part? The silence. When artists this powerful stop speaking, it usually means something deeper is happening. This doesn't feel like a simple misunderstanding. Insiders are hinting at broken loyalty, cross lines, and moves that weren't supposed to go public. Fans are asking the same question everywhere. What really happened between Future and 21 Savage? And why does this situation feel darker than a normal industry beef? Social media is exploding with theories. Every post, every caption, every move is being watched. One wrong step could turn this tension into something irreversible. When two giants collide, the fallout doesn't stay private, it shakes the entire hip-hop world. This isn't just about music anymore. It's about respect, power, and decisions that may have already changed everything. And as more details begin to surface, one thing is becoming clear. This clash went further than anyone expected, and fans are about to hear the truth they weren't ready for. What fans weren't ready for is that this situation didn't explode overnight. The tension between Future and 21 Savage had been quietly building long before anyone noticed. In an industry where collaborations are planned months in advance, silence can speak louder than diss tracks, and that silence had already begun. It started with small details, subtle enough to ignore at first. Future was noticeably absent from conversations where fans expected his name to come up alongside 21 Savage. No reposts, no public support, no behind-the-scenes footage like before. At the same time, 21 Savage began moving differently, aligning himself with circles that fans knew weren't exactly close to Future's camp. At first, fans brushed it off as scheduling conflicts. That's the usual excuse. But insiders started hinting that something was off. Studio sessions that were supposed to happen reportedly never did. Beats exchanged, then never returned. Conversations left unanswered. In hip-hop, those aren't accidents, they're signals. Behind closed doors, loyalty is currency. And once trust feels shaken, everything changes. Sources close to the situation claim the first real fracture came from business decisions. Not music money. Ownership. Credits. Future, a veteran who's built an empire off controlling his sound and legacy, is known for being extremely careful about how his work is handled. 21 Savage, on the other hand, has been evolving fast, bigger deals, bigger platforms, bigger expectations. When two artists grow at different speeds, tension follows. Rumors suggest that a move was made without full transparency. Something that crossed an unspoken line. Whether it was about a feature, a partnership, or conversations happening behind someone's back, the reaction afterward said everything. Communication slowed. Meetings stopped. And instead of addressing it directly, both sides went quiet. That silence is dangerous. Fans started noticing lyrical shifts next. Nothing direct. No names. No obvious shots. Just a colder tone. Lines about trust. About betrayal. About watching who's around you when success gets louder. These weren't random bars, they felt personal. And fans did what they always do, connect the dots. Social media became a microscope. Every lyric breakdown video added fuel. Every cryptic caption sent timelines into chaos. People weren't asking if something happened anymore, they were asking how bad it really was. Then came the moment that changed everything. An industry event where both artists were expected to be present. Same city, same night, but they never crossed paths. No photos, no acknowledgement. Two giants in the same space, acting like the other didn't exist. That's when fans realized this wasn't just tension, it was separation. Insiders later hinted that this was intentional. Around that time, people close to both camps reportedly began choosing sides. That's when situations escalate. Once entourages get involved, misunderstandings multiply. Words get twisted. Messages don't travel cleanly. And what might have been fixable turns permanent. What makes this clash darker is the respect both artists command. Neither Future nor 21 Savage is known for reckless public drama. They move calculatedly. Strategic. When artists like that stop communicating, it's rarely emotional, it's deliberate. That's what has fans uneasy. Because this doesn't feel like a temporary disagreement. It feels like a shift in power dynamics. Like someone felt played, or overlooked, or replaced. And the industry noticed. Producers began acting cautious. Collaborators avoided mentioning both names in the same sentence. Playlists that once celebrated their chemistry started feeling like relics of a past era. The narrative was quietly changing, and nobody was correcting it. Behind the scenes, both artists continued winning. Charts, streams, applause. But the energy between them was gone. And in hip-hop, absence speaks volumes. The darkest part? No one has denied anything. No public statement. No clarification. No, we're good post to calm the fans. Just distance. Cold moves. Strategic silence. Fans are now split. Some believe this is just business, a temporary disconnect exaggerated by the internet. Others are convinced something irreversible happened. Something that can't be undone with a phone call or a verse. And then came the whispers that took this situation to another level. Talk of conversations being recorded. Of private grievances becoming leverage. Of people knowing things they shouldn't. Whether those rumors are true or not, the fact that they exist shows how deep the tension feels. This is no longer about music chemistry. It's about trust, control, and respect in an industry where all three are fragile. One question hangs heavy over everything. If this situation was still fixable, why hasn't either side tried to fix it? We're going to look at the moves that followed, the ones that suggest this clash didn't cool down, it escalated. If this situation was ever fixable, where it stopped being about misunderstanding and started becoming about moves. After the quiet separation fans noticed, things didn't cool down. They hardened. What made this phase dangerous wasn't public shots or obvious diss tracks. It was how calculated everything became. Both Future and 21 Savage continued operating at the highest level, but their paths stopped overlapping completely. In hip-hop, that kind of separation is rarely accidental. Insiders say communication didn't just slow, it ended. Calls went unanswered. Messages stayed on read. Managers spoke instead of artists. When that happens, the conflict stops being personal and becomes structural. It moves into contracts, teams, and long-term decisions. That's when egos don't clash, empires do. Around this time, fans began noticing patterns that couldn't be ignored. Producers who had worked closely with both artists suddenly appeared only on one side. Collaborators who once moved freely between camps started choosing loyalty carefully. It wasn't loud, but it was visible to anyone paying attention. Then came the industry whispers that shifted the tone completely. Rumors began circulating that something sensitive had leaked, not to the public, but within industry circles. Private conversations. Business disagreements. Opinions that were never meant to travel. Whether these rumors are true or exaggerated, they created paranoia. And paranoia is fuel. Once artists feel exposed, trust doesn't just break, it collapses. This is where the lyrical tension intensified. Fans noticed it immediately. The bars got sharper. The messages more defensive. References to watching your circle. To snakes. To fake loyalty hiding behind smiles. Still no names, but no deniability either. Every release turned into a decoding session. And social media did what it always does. It escalated everything. Clips resurfaced. Old interviews were reanalyzed. Past moments that once felt harmless now looked suspicious. Fans weren't just speculating anymore. They were constructing timelines. What made things worse was the lack of correction. Neither Future nor 21 Savage shut the rumors down. No interviews clearing the air. No joint appearance to kill the narrative. Silence again, but this time, it felt intentional. Strategic. Almost like letting the tension speak for itself. That's when people started asking a darker question. Was this conflict being used as leverage? In hip-hop, perception is power. And both artists, once an artist actively avoids repairing a relationship, it's no longer about pride, it's about principle. Something crossed a line that apologies couldn't fix. And yet, the most unsettling part of this phase was how calm both sides appeared publicly. No rage, no chaos, just success, awards, applause. But tension doesn't disappear just because it's quiet. Behind that calm surface, fans believe something heavier was brewing. Something unresolved. Something that hadn't surfaced yet, but would. Because in hip-hop, conflicts don't vanish. They wait. One truth becomes impossible to ignore. This clash isn't escalating because of noise. It's escalating because of silence, strategy, and moves made behind closed doors. We'll examine the fallout everyone's afraid to talk about, the potential consequences, the industry impact, and why this situation may already be past the point of no return. By the time the industry fully realized what was happening, it was already too late to rewind. Whatever once connected Future and 21 Savage had quietly dissolved, and what replaced it wasn't anger, it was distance. And distance, in hip-hop, is often more permanent than beef. At this stage, insiders stopped using the word tension. They started using the word final. Behind closed doors, the fallout began to show its real weight. Opportunities that would have been automatic just months earlier now came with hesitation. Brands asked questions. Labels recalculated. Collaborators tread carefully. Nobody wanted to be caught standing too close when two powerful forces were clearly no longer aligned. This is where the clash moved beyond the artists themselves and into the ecosystem around them. Producers felt it first. Beats that might have gone to both camps now went to one, never the other. Writers adjusted their tone. Features were negotiated with extra clauses, extra boundaries. Not because of public drama, but because of uncertainty. And uncertainty is poison in an industry built on momentum. What fans didn't see was how strategic everything had become. The Future doubled down on control. His moves reflected experience, tightening his circle, reinforcing his brand, making it clear that loyalty still mattered more than optics. He didn't speak, but his actions sent a message. I've been here before, and I know how this ends. 21 Savage, meanwhile, leaned into evolution. Bigger stages, wider reach, new alliances. His path looked forward-focused, almost detached from the past. To his supporters, it looked like growth. To critics, it looked like distance by design. And that difference in philosophy may be the real breaking point. One side values history. The other values trajectory. When those priorities clash, compromise becomes nearly impossible. Fans hoped for reconciliation, a surprise appearance, a joint track, even a casual shout-out. None came. Instead, the silence stretched longer, heavier. At some point, silence stops being awkward and starts being intentional. That's when fans began accepting a truth they didn't want to face. This wasn't being fixed. What made the situation darker was the absence of closure. No diss tracks to release tension. No interviews to explain context. No narrative reset. Just unanswered questions, and unanswered questions breed speculation. And speculation became dangerous. Rumors started pushing past music. Some claimed egos were hurt. Others whispered about money, contracts, power plays. The more extreme theories talked about private information, leverage, and things that could permanently damage reputations if exposed. Whether true or not, the fact that these ideas circulated at all showed how unstable the situation felt. In hip-hop, perception can be as destructive as reality. The culture began choosing sides not because they wanted to, but because silence forced them to. You couldn't talk about one without someone bringing up the other. You couldn't praise a move without someone questioning the motive behind it. And both artists watched it happen, without stopping it. That's when it became clear this clash had evolved into something bigger than emotion. It had become positioning. Each move felt like a statement. Each absence felt deliberate. Each success felt separate. Industry veterans recognized the pattern immediately. This wasn't a temporary fallout. This was what happens when two powerful artists decide their futures don't need to intersect anymore, even if the past says otherwise. And that decision carries consequences. For the culture, It meant the end of a partnership fans believed had more chapters left. For the industry, it meant recalculating alliances. For both artists, it meant carrying unresolved tension into every room they entered, whether acknowledged or not. The most unsettling part? Neither side looks bothered. That calm isn't peace. It's resolved. When artists reach that stage, reconciliation doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, and so far, there's been none. As time passes, the story stops being what happened and becomes what will never happen again. And that realization hits fans harder than any diss track ever could. Because this wasn't a loud collapse. It was a quiet one. And quiet collapses leave no debris, just absence. So where does this leave Future and 21 Savage? Both will continue winning. Both will continue shaping the culture. But they'll do it separately, carrying a shared history that no longer translates into collaboration. And that might be the final truth fans have to accept. Some clashes don't explode. They fade permanently. And unless one of them decides to break the silence, this story may never get official closure. Just chapters fans piece together from moves, lyrics, and moments that no longer align. Because in hip-hop, the darkest endings aren't the loud ones. They're the ones where everyone moves on without ever looking back. Now that you've seen the full story behind Future and 21 Savage's dark turn, it's clear this isn't just another headline. This is a situation that has shaken the hip-hop world quietly, but with a force that fans can't ignore. And that's why your voice matters. If you've been following this story closely, drop a like right now, not just for the drama, but to show you're part of the conversation that's shaping how this culture remembers these moments. Your engagement tells the world that hip-hop fans don't just watch passively. They notice every shift, every lyric, every subtle move that others might miss. Next, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Why? Because stories like this don't end in a single video. As the tension continues to simmer, new developments, leaked insights, and behind-the-scenes revelations could surface at any moment. If you're not subscribed, you'll miss the updates that could redefine how the industry sees both Future and 21 Savage. Finally, we need to hear your opinion. Comment below and tell us, do you think this fallout is permanent? Is reconciliation possible, or is the damage done beyond repair? Every comment matters. It's a way to be part of the story, not just a spectator. Hip-hop thrives on engagement, energy, and insight. By liking, subscribing, and commenting, you become part of the discussion, the pulse of the culture itself. Don't sit on the sidelines. This is more than drama, it's history in the making, and your voice counts.